that was very satisfying and a great learning experience. Probably harder than anything else I've done in my life. I'm a servant leader who draws a lot of energy from his team, actually. The simplicity of the people, the authenticity of the people, the bespoke, wonderful business that Compass has, a combination of these things, it was almost an automatic choice. And when I look back, it's probably the best thing I've ever done in my life. More and more people, companies are beginning to recognize that food safety is important. It's a super exciting place. Lovely. I mean, it gives me goosebumps when I think about the potential in this industry. Wonderful. And what we can do in the future. 45 odd cities, 38,000 people, 900,000 meals a day, and growing are the numbers that we are talking about.
Given your various business TGs, B2B, sectorized within B2B, how do you market yourself? What is your marketing philosophy, vision? Hello and welcome to MVP, the Master's Voice podcast, the podcast series from MediaBrief.com, an award-winning series thanks to the presence of the kind of guests that we are always honored to bring you and the insights of in every episode, as in this one. Please join me as I welcome somebody who is a peerless business leader, a visionary, has done immense amount of work in India and abroad, 20 years, I think, with Coke alone, out of which 7 were in India. And this is a leader who drives the India arm of the global food services and other services giant, the Compass Group. So this is the MD of the global group in India. And this global group has, I think it's about, let me get that right, 33 countries employing more than about 5.5 lakh people worldwide, serving a staggering 5.5 billion meals annually, right? This is from the website. And so to speak about the Compass Group in India, its operations and offerings, the growth so far, the growth plan, the potential, etc. and much more, I have with me somebody who is my surname's sake, a wonderful, smiling, positive person. So please join me as I welcome Vikas Chawla, Managing Director of Compass Group India since March 2023. Vikas, welcome to the episode and
thank you so much,
Pawan.
Time. Pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Vikas. Thank you. In fact, Vikas, you've traveled from Delhi to Mumbai, and I'm sure you came for other things perhaps also, but you also found time to give me the time, your precious time, for this recording, this shoot, which is happening in your PR agency at Factors PR's office. So that's great. And for that, and for your entire comms team also, thanks are in order. I must first and foremost thank your excellent marketing and comms head. And this is my format, so please don't be self-effacing anybody and say, don't take our names. Natasha Panya, she's the marketing and communications head at Compass Group India. And then, of course, your PR agency at Factors PR, there is Anjali Berry, who leads the team out of Delhi. Along with her is Geet Chhabra and many others. And of course, the amazing Jinesh Zaveri from at Factors PR in Mumbai. So thanks to everybody. You're in very good comms hands. Take that from me as someone who deals with very many clients and very many agencies.
Thank you.
And it's great when any agency, any client comes together beautifully to sort of spread the good word. So without any more ado, first and foremost, okay, earlier, Vikas, I used to read out profiles. But then I used to think, this is what I think is important. But what about the person who's with me? You're here because of the insights, the breadth, depth, knowledge, everything from your experience, and to talk about the Compass Group India in your case. So why don't you walk us quickly through your career in about a minute or so, or starting from your early education and what you've done at Compass Group also, your learnings over those 2 or 3 important learnings that you've held very dearly to your heart. Go ahead.
Pawan, firstly, thanks for having me over. And you mentioned Ad Factor. They've been awesome for us actually up till now. It's been a journey which is a little bit more than a year. And Natasha,
I must tell you that off cam, I can't pan there because there's a lot of other stuff here, is Natasha Pania, and I promise you that we'll be doing a wonderful episode later with her about communications and marketing. But yeah, so please, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead.
no problem at all. So their Ad Factors is great. Natasha is doing some phenomenal work as well. I can potentially keep it even briefer than a minute actually.
Oh, no, please. There's a lot you've done. So a minute was a little too much to ask for, but
So
please go
Pawan,
ahead.
I'm a servant leader who draws a lot of energy from his team actually. So I genuinely enjoy the team, the people. We often go through questions amongst ourselves whether we should actually have a hybrid model or work from home. So while we have a choice in our own office in the headquarters, I personally choose to come into office because I get all my energy from there actually. So I've worked in 3 continents by now and in multiple countries. It's been a nice, energizing journey actually. I've not unchallenging. The tasks have been tough. I started off as an M&A guy in Coca-Cola, but I then reasonably quickly jumped into general management. Someone trusted me and gave me a small market south of India, which is Maldives, a punishment posting.
What did you do wrong?
It was my first general managerial role, but I've since then that was really a learning ground for me. But since then, I've done a fair number of general managerial jobs. My last one with Coke was as the managing director of Coca-Cola South and East Europe, which was a dozen odd countries. I used to live in paradise at that point in time, in Athens, in Greece.
Wow.
And 20 years with Coke, part of it in India, maybe about half of it, and the rest outside. I then jumped into an entrepreneurial journey where I started a beverage company of my own with a couple of co-founders.
Yes.
And we chose to go the health beverage route. And
Coconut water.
Healthy, tasty beverage, which was coconut water, which can tend to be a little bit bland by itself. So we made it coconut water with juice. So there was a cocoa mango, there was a cocoa lychee, etc. So we had many variants to that. I made lots of mistakes in my journey. It was more than 4 years, but we scaled to over 35,000
Outlets across the country, and eventually who bought it?
Reliance bought it. And it's in good hands. They're now launching it as their juice brand across the country.
Wonderful.
I'm looking at it from far because I'm in another journey altogether, as you know.
Correct.
But that was very satisfying and a great learning experience. Probably harder than anything else I've done in my life. And I believe my best years are ahead of me because I'm in a business which is absolutely awesome.
Compass Group India. Yeah.
Compass Group India. The food is brilliant, and I'm a foodie. The people are amazing. Very simple and authentic people who don't complicate life particularly. Very client focused, very bespoke. So it's great people, great food, and all tech enabled. And we are also personally I'm personally passionate about impact. But
Wonderful. Yeah.
So we are creating a fair bit of social impact as well.
Right.
So
We'll come to all
growth
that.
on the one side and impact on the other, and that's what we're doing in Compass Group India. So it's an exciting journey.
Excellent. So you scaled. I mean, I'm going to interject here. This question was planned for later, but since you mentioned Ruskik, why did you sell? Did the fire ebb, or were the monies too tempting at that time? Or are you a restless soul who wants to move from one satisfying milestone to another one? You did spend 20 years at Coke and you did brilliantly well. So that sort of negates what I said. But tell me, I mean, this was here was an opportunity to take it to maybe 70,000 outlets and more?
I think eventually it was a combination of things.
Okay.
One was the fact that I believed that Reliance would be better hands for the baby to grow.
Lovely.
So we brought it to a certain stage, and it just felt better that they'll be able to make the right investments to be able to grow the baby. The other was, I think, is nestled in what I really truly enjoy doing. So, and one of the things I realized I didn't enjoy doing was to consistently go out and raise money, because this industry requires a lot of investments to be able to scale a product. So a combination of these two. So they have the resources to be able to make it thrive. And that really was the core reason.
Wonderful. So essentially, a guy who was in M&A, began with M&A, went on to managerial positions at Coke, ending up as managing director of a huge European market, several countries, 11 odd. From there, getting eventually into a food services and allied services Compass Group India, right? Kind of a company. So, essentially, you're going to work as a chef, so I'm not going to say, hey, you didn't know how to cook, so how did you come here? You're leading, you're the visionary out here. But what drew you to Compass Group India? I'm sure there must have been very many others waiting to sort of, hire you and, get your services. So, why did you choose Compass? And tell me one more thing, left unanswered from the last one. 2 or 3 learnings that have remained very close to you, which you brought to Compass Group, okay, after telling me why you joined it, and how those learnings and Compass culture together have probably helped you become perhaps an even better person and professional. Long question. Take it away.
So what drew me to Compass?
You did say great food, good services, name.
So it really was, a combination of these things. So the idea that it was a food business per se attracted me. I love food. And I love fitness as well.
Sure.
And but I truly adore good food. And Compass, we have nearly 3,000 chefs in India. Some of them are spectacular. I would say a lot of them are absolutely spectacular. And we tasted some great food right now as well. The second thing was the authenticity and simplicity of the people in the company. So it's something which has always drawn me. Personally, I'd like to believe I'm reasonably unassuming, and that drew me. So I have a little story here. In fact, when I was beginning to talk to Compass, I spoke with HR folks, of course, as you do, but I spoke with the person who was going to be my boss, and he decided to fly in just pre-Christmas to be able to just have dinner with me.
Wow.
And
that's commitment.
He took a flight, he came in, he had dinner, he flew back. And I must say that, that moved me. So the simplicity of the people, the authenticity of the people, the bespoke, wonderful business that Compass has, a combination of these things, it was almost an automatic choice. And when I look back, it's probably the best thing I've ever done in my life.
Wonderful. Learnings from the past and here, the work culture over here.
So if I think about learnings, and then a lot of the learnings are around my leadership journey actually, because for now a couple of decades I've been running different kinds of businesses.
Sure.
And one of the things which has stayed with me, and it's strengthened over a period of time, is that if you truly care for your team, for your people, it's probably the best thing that you can do for your business. It's a core responsibility of a leader to genuinely, truly care. And people can feel it.
Okay.
Yeah. And once people feel it, a lot of positive things happen. It helps retention, for sure. People don't leave you. It helps them give off their very best. And a bunch of other things that come as a corollary of this piece. The other learning is sometimes people can get into analyzing maybe a little bit too much. I think there is a combination required but I strongly believe that one should trust one's instincts and not vacillate too much. So that's the other piece.
Wow.
80% of the job of a leader is actually putting the right people in the right place. If that's done, you don't reach nirvana because there's a lot to do in this world in any case, but a large part of your job is done.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So these would be some of my learnings. I think if you look at Compass in India, we are now 38,000 people.
Are you looking at my
I am not,
sheets?
but
No. So let me ask you the question first.
okay, sir.
And I do want to dwell at considerable, not some, length on Compass Group India, its excellent growth, all the things it's done, its planning, right? But first, just let's look at the industry numbers and growth potential for Compass Group in India. How do you see the space? What are the industry numbers that you have, perhaps from research or guesstimates or whatever? And what is the potential? And then I'll ask you how you're going to go about achieving your 45% growth target that you've set yourself over the next 3 years, please.
So India as an industry is roughly about 70,000 crores.
Okay.
And
Food services and allied services.
food services, essentially.
Okay.
And that's growing at an astounding 15% right now.
Wow.
And it's a largely fragmented market. We are one of the largest players, if not the largest, but the headroom to grow is unbelievable, and that's what excites me about the industry and the company as well. So only about a quarter of the industry is organized. The rest of it is very fragmented. So the potential in there is outstanding to be able to grow. More and more people, companies are beginning to recognize that food safety is important, that health and nutrition is important. So people are beginning to migrate. We do sell, but a lot of times we have business coming by our own way as well, in that sense. So there's massive potential.
There's a lot of pull also.
Massive potential, growing industry, and huge headroom. So super exciting place. Lovely. I mean, it gives me goosebumps when I think about the potential in this industry and what we can do in the future.
So where is Compass Group India today?
So Compass Group in India is fairly large even today. I mean, even though we're looking at a massive growth journey ahead, we do nearly 900,000 meals a day.
Wow.
Yes. And
how many cities?
We're in 45 cities, though we concentrate in the larger ones. Our business is concentrated in the larger ones like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, more so than the others.
Okay.
Yes. But 45 odd cities, 38,000 people, 900,000 meals a day, and growing are the numbers that we are talking about.
So what special enablers, you've already mentioned that some exist, this whole focus on food safety, on all the other positives that are important, even perhaps the aspirational magnets to attract the best talent and retain them and keep them happy, the existing ones. Okay, we get food and services and culinary food, so to speak. Somebody said, what's culinary food? And I said, culinary food is food which is cooked in a kitchen in a proper professional way, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
So, all these important positives you yourself are bringing to the table. You have the world's perhaps single largest proof of concept. 5.5 billion meals every day across the world, 33 countries, 5.5 lakh people working for you. That's huge, right? But within the ecosystem in India,
yes,
what are the enablers you would hope for, seek, perhaps even try to enable through a government and private enterprise partnership, meaning coming together to help the industry in a company agnostic way?
See, I think one of the things which is beginning to happen more and more, and I just mentioned earlier, is that the focus on health and nutrition, especially after COVID, is growing not only amongst employers, but it's growing across people in a huge way.
Right.
So, and it's not something which is centered in only larger cities like Mumbai, where we are today, but it's permeating across the society.
Okay.
I think it's a significant enabler for us because we recognize that healthy, nutritious food is great for people. I mean, it actually energizes people, improves their productivity. And it's something which we are squarely focused on.
And well planned, they look forward to it every day. So it's
They do look forward to it every day. In fact, people actually come into the workspace sometimes just to be able to experience great meals.
lovely.
Actually, when they are getting hired, more than 80% people would actually prefer an organization which has an organized cafe and food within the organization. It actually can be a source of retention for people as well. So that whole health and nutrition piece, and I'll go back to that, is something which can be a critical enabler in our world. We do interesting things. For example, we have a bunch of food programs, over 20 food programs. Actually, across the country, we also do bespoke food programs for our clients.
Okay.
Many of them. Like a client which I was visiting has 18 bespoke food programs of their own, a corporate client.
In Mumbai.
In Mumbai, yes.
Wow. So what are these 18? I mean, is it for different levels of people or is it for different kind of days and times? I don't know. I mean, 18 bespoke food programs is
Yes.
like mind-boggling.
It is different kinds of cuisines. It's,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So
Understood.
you would have a tandoor, an Indian cuisine. You would have a Oriental cuisine food program. There would be another which is pasta and pizza.
Understood.
There would be another potentially a home food kind of a place.
Evolved clients, no? Such clients must really tickle your fancy, right?
Yes.
And excite you.
They're excited. We are also excited in terms of being able to create places like these for them. And I was mentioning that one of our programs, for example, is a program called Responsible Biryani. And what we do in Responsible Biryani, a little bit oxymoronish, right?
I have a story on biryani, but you tell me yours first.
So in a Responsible Biryani, we take away the rice and we put in millets to be able to leave our consumers healthier. We can't promise to make people healthy, but at least the people that you touch, you can make them healthier. And all of this is done without impacting taste. Because Hindustan ki ek reality hai that, if something is not tasty, it's unlikely that people will consume it. They may do it once, but they would not repeat it.
आप बिना तेल का भरता, बिना तेल का करेला, बिना तेल की भिंडी बना लो. It just doesn't taste good. I'm sorry, this is typical Punjabi speaking.
Yeah.
But then on biryani, small aside, years ago, I mean, I used to review food for a lot of publications and the Independent of London's Bombay edition also, donkeys years ago. And at that time, Anil Dharkar told me this little story, great editor. He said, why the biryani was invented? There was a Nawab who was so unable to eat or bring himself to eat, he would only peck a little bit, eat about so much of food that his chef said, इनकी सेहत को कैसे हम संभाल के रखें? So they thought of concocting a dish which would give him carbs and mutton and veggies and nuts and everything, and therefore the first biryani was created. Now I don't know how true that is, but if Anil said it to me, I take it as gospel.
That's nice learning for me today.
So 45% growth target, 3 years. How? You already bought a huge, I think India's biggest kitchen in the private space in Bangalore.
Yes,
So that must be one of the things. But how will you achieve your 45% growth? And what is your vision? Tough task. And you put everybody on the clock. Guys, this is for the whole world to know and for us to achieve. So let's do it.
So growth is a big driver for me personally.
Yes.
Growth is a huge driver for Compass Group as far as India goes. India is a focus market from a growth perspective. I don't know whether 45% is going to happen, honestly. But
Might be 50, knowing you. Go ahead.
But honestly, I think significant growth is possible. It can be the industry itself is growing at 15%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
And
that's,
the headroom that you mentioned is really huge.
yes. So growth will come through expansion from where we are today, and expansion doesn't necessarily need to be necessarily across cities, but it can be across new clients. It can be across new large clients. Today we are very, very strong in multinational companies as well.
Okay.
And but my sense is that the Indian organizations are growing fast in the realization that they want to offer great food to their employees, and they want to concentrate on food safety as well. So I think that could be one area of growth. The other area of growth for us is sectors, actually. So one of the things we learned from the world of Compass Group is the fact that sectorization helps a lot. So in India, we are super strong on business and industry. Business actually more than industry. So a lot of our business comes from players, like I said, multinational companies, but also local companies, but which are running businesses. We also want to concentrate in manufacturing.
Okay.
Yes. So where, we are now with our latest acquisition
In Bangalore.
we have acquired ICS Foods, which is great and has a marquee list of clients in the manufacturing sector. With them, we feel even stronger to be able to go after an expanding manufacturing base in India, especially with the Make in India that the government is pushing. I think there's very significant growth out there. The other sector which is very promising is education. Again, we are separately focusing on that. It's a relatively fledgling business today, but it's growing fast for us. So that sectorization.
How about travel and hospitality?
Uh,
Airlines, hotels.
It's a great area of growth.
Hotels have their own kitchens, of course, but I'm just saying.
But anything is par for the course. You talked about our Bangalore kitchen, which churns out 40,000 meals a day today. It's the largest in the country. So if you look at our kitchens, and we have kitchens across the country, we have the most number of kitchens across the country and the largest kitchens in the country.
Wow.
Central
How many
kitchens.
are they?
We are now going towards 8 now. So we have kitchens in Gurgaon, Noida, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, looking for one in Pune. So
Mumbai soon.
Mumbai, we have a kitchen as well.
Oh, you have?
We have a
Okay.
kitchen as well. Sorry for missing that out. But lots of kitchens and lots of capacity to be able to serve food beyond that lunch hour.
Correct.
So
like you said,
imagine-
lunch is the main meal. Yeah.
Yes. So imagine being able to serve, say, cafes in the morning from our central kitchens. They get fresh food, and we make the best food in the country. So there's lots of potential to be able to do that. That's also a growth area for us. And recently, we've been beginning to start focusing on that as well.
What about fast service points and restaurants, or
All
say
of that,
kitchens? Even going directly to the consumer through the Zomatos and the Swiggis of the world with a set menu.
As long as you can go in with the right model, that could also be a growth area, because there is a very significant amount of growth in that area as well. We experimented during COVID.
Oh, you did?
We did during that period of time, but that's a business which got shut down from our partner, not from us. But it's one area we could work towards as well.
Wonderful. So, given your various business TGs, B2B, sectorized within B2B, how do you market yourself? What is your marketing philosophy, vision, mixes that you use?
So I think the clients, which are our core target, know us reasonably well. And yes, but can we do more on marketing? Can we do more on building heft for the brand? Absolutely, yes.
You do a phenomenal amount on LinkedIn. It's huge, it's busy.
Yes.
335,000 somewhere, some 500,000 somewhere else, 2 social media accounts. And you're concentrating on LinkedIn because that's where the business owners and custodians and administrators are. So,
Yes. It's great to know that you picked up the good work that the marketing team does on
oh,
our
it
side.
does great
Yes,
work.
So,
Amazing work.
So social media is definitely one space where we can leverage even more. to be able to grow marketing. We do a lot of marketing on site, by the way, in our restaurants, in our cafes. We
Invite people.
No, not invite people, but
Corporates?
within those sites, to be able to make people aware that it's Compass India, we're allowed, because a lot of time clients have the preference that the food remains relatively anonymous, and we respect that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But marketing happens in terms of the quality of food. Sometimes also happens in terms of great messages in terms of nutrition, and I keep going back to that because that's a huge trend today. But on-site marketing happens, and we also do marketing through social media. But we can build significant heft. I haven't spoken about our support services a lot, but that's also a third of our business, where we do facility management as well.
Lovely. So, what is the split like on the revenue pie? Don't give me absolutes.
More than two-thirds of it is food actually.
Food.
Today. Yes. So, if you look at us across the world, we are more a food service company than we are a facility manager. But it's a growing pie, and in India, we do a great job in terms of facility management as well. And it's a very large number of people who are doing that work for us relentlessly.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. You spoke about, I think innovation and technology. Right in the beginning, you mentioned that we are also hugely tech driven. So let's talk tech and innovation in the service delivery space in India, through Compass Group India. I mean, what kind of tech do you deploy for innovation, speed and quality? And what areas do you focus to innovate on, whether it's product, packaging or marketing?
Innovation is pretty much Pawan right across our supply chain. Actually, it's our DNA. It's our differentiator in a very big way. As I mentioned, we have this incredible number of food programs, bespoke food programs that we put together.
18 for one client.
And
Get over that.
we have an innovation kitchen right below our office where we cook up new things all the time. So where our core is, we are strong innovators. And we take into account Indian food trends, global food trends, to be able to create these innovations. The other thing we do very well, or rather have done very well and now continue to improve it, is we have an app called Foodbook.
Foodbook.
Yes. Okay. So this is the app through which you order. Everything goes through that. Oh. So it's a take on a company that we acquired back in 2020 called SmartQ, which is housed out of Bangalore. And the intent behind SmartQ when they started this app was to actually reduce queues. So to your point of speed in service. So everything goes through that app. And we are the only company in the country which has a combination of food, facility management, a food tech company, and now a company which is a new jewel in our overall organization, which is ICS, which is focused on manufacturing squarely and do a brilliant job as well. So Foodbook is on there from a technology standpoint. We've recently started deploying an AI-powered machine, an eye, which looks at sorting as well. So I was speaking to you about the fact that anything that comes into our kitchen gets sorted. We've been doing it manually, partly automated to an extent, and now we are leveraging AI to be able to see if we could do an even better job. So
sorting is at what level? What stage of the process? Is it
at the
produce coming in?
As the product comes in, as the raw material comes in, is when we sort it out. So we, in our facility management business, we have an app called Sarthi FX, which deploys AI bots to be able to, so it's placed across the building, and we are then able to optimize energy. We are able to go out and we are able to reduce costs through that. And what it also does is it allows us to monitor our operations from a regional operations center, which is housed out of our office as well.
Okay.
So And I'm not sure anybody else does this, but these are the kinds of things that we do.
This is
from a
amazing
technology
stuff. The entire hotel industry can actually get into something like this. Because tell me, the sorting of your products that come in, is it only the products that are sorted, or does it also assess immediately the quality of the product and says, this, push out of the line? I'm just saying, possibility.
That sorting is largely for foreign objects.
Okay.
Yes. But our suppliers are screened very carefully for quality.
Excellent.
And that's done over a period of time. So while we encourage smaller suppliers and as well, but our supplier base is very, very high quality overall. So
38,000, how many meals a day you said in India?
900,000 meals.
900,000 meals, 38,000 people working for you in India.
Right.
Sorry. Okay.
That's right.
Now, that's a huge amount of meals. Okay?
Right.
And I'm not going to the global side, which is a total of 5.5 billion meals a day. Let's say 900,000 meals, 38,000 people working for you in India. When you look at sustainability and CSR, etc., I've seen that like your Bangalore kitchen is solar driven. Water harvesting happens. There's a lot of rainwater harvesting and lots of things trying to bring down the carbon footprint, etc. But what about food that is fresh, still in the chefing dishes, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Not consumed. What do you do with that kind of food after a lunch timing is over? Do you send it to NGOs to feed the poor, or what do you do with it?
A great question, Pawan, by the way. So it's one of the things which I think the food industry overall should be thinking about very, very actively. So it's a super question. We have a purpose, and I'll deviate for just a second. We co-created a purpose for our business in India last year. And our purpose is to be able to shape a happier, healthier, sustainable world every day. So sustainability is actually sitting in our purpose itself, the reason for our being. So we are truly passionate about sustainability. And to your question, one of the things we do, and we need to do more and more of that, is that we've tied up with a set of volunteers called the Robin Hood Army. So there are more than 250,000 people who have day jobs, but admirably, they pick up food from people like us and actually go out to nearby underprivileged areas and serve them food, actually spend time with them, solve problems for them as well. So we'd like to be able to serve millions of such people every year over a period of time. And this is a partnership that we've started off in terms of taking care of food which is unconsumed or overproduced. We also measure waste, by the way. So the idea is to keep working towards reducing our overall food waste all the time, actually.
And also keep educating the employees of your current organizations that are your clients on food wastage, and take only as much as you want to eat.
We do that through many signages which Natasha and team put up in the sites as well.
Wonderful.
And clients are incredibly passionate about this area as well. Clients are passionate about sustainability, food waste in a very big way today. So we are sort of, that resonance is now beginning to multiply.
Wonderful.
And that's why I think there's plenty of potential for people like us to grow.
Wonderful. To go back to innovations, which is you're so passionate about. Innovations will help excellence, operations efficiency, and client delight. So thanks to these three things, innovation is always a big help. You mentioned the use of AI in sorting, etc. You mentioned how tech-driven you are. Tell me about how you use AI and tech and innovation for food safety.
Pawan, we are maniacal about food safety.
Maniacal, I love that.
So one of the interesting things we've done is we've digitized how we track food safety. So we've launched an app called Insight, which we use to be able to track food safety. Coupled with our own people who go across for safety walks across all our sites, this app helps us significantly to be able to track how we are doing on food safety. So it's genuinely helpful, and it's a game changer for us.
So you have a central or even a locally placed specialist team, 1, 2, 3, 10 people, who will go around the facilities and ensure that everything absolutely is safe on the food safety, personnel safety, and procedures and processes safety levels. Is that correct?
So not only do we have a team, so we have someone who leads food safety at the corporate level. We have region food safety folks. But in terms of safety walks that you're referring to, I do safety walks myself. Nitasha does safety walks. Wow. And everyone would go out and do it with the help of that app. So everything goes on there and our suggestions go in there. And these safety walks are not to be able to point mistakes. They are to be able to create a safety culture. So having conversations around safety, walking sites together, identifying opportunities to be able to drive safety culture. So these are the kinds of things we do. But I do them personally, to your question.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Laudable indeed. This is Vikas Chawla, founder editor of MediaBrief.com. You're on MVP The Master's Voice podcast. With me is Vikas Chawla, my surname sake, amazing professional, MD of Compass Group India. Why Compass Group India for India, Vikas?
Why not, Pawan? We are truly differentiated and one of a kind in India. Compass Group serves the most brilliant food. We have 3,000 odd chefs in India who are amazingly well skilled. We are maniacal about food safety and people safety. We actually help employee well-being tremendously in the organizations that we serve. We help in the hospitals that we serve patients for them to get well in a speedier way. Wow. So we're different, we're good, we're probably the largest, and I'd like to believe that we are the very best in India.
Wonderful. Compass Group India is driving profit with purpose also. Because you will agree that all things business, business acquisition, business performance, business growth, business everything, hinges upon a very, very important aspect, that of business reputation. And I think it is the one thing that gives every business owner, business leader, custodian, MD, CEO, whatever, promoter, sleepless nights. How do you cope with and the fear of the unexpected in the environment or in your own operations, despite all the great safety and everything else that you have in place? So, business reputation is crucial. What is your science, art, system, process of protecting, building, enhancing, and growing business reputation at Compass Group India?
Pawan, that's again a great question, because in a business like ours, it's incredibly important. Our reputation is everything. So one of the things we do, and to your point of sleepless nights, one of the areas we have deep focus on is food safety, because the kind of business we have and the kind of numbers we have, nearly 1 million meals a day, food safety is super critical. So our processes help us to be able to go out and serve flawless food every single day. That helps our reputation. The other piece, and globally we have a proven model across the world in terms of client satisfaction, and we focus on that in a very big way to be able to make sure that we serve our clients in the best possible way, meaningfully, and we cater to their overall happiness. And that's how we guard our reputation. And I think these are the two parts of the answer. But yeah, I personally actually think that वो sleepless nights वगैरह का concept होना नहीं चाहिए, because इस धंधे के अंदर जो है वो sleepless nights वगैरह अगर होने लगे तो आप कभी सोओगे नहीं. Because दिन रात आप काम कर रहे होते. It's one of the most hard-working businesses that I have ever come across in my life.
Demanding.
Yes, yeah.
But then that can be said of every kind of business. But yes, over here it's food. It's the staple, the main meat and potatoes, if I may, literally, of your whole business.
Yes.
So one day there is any problem with some food which causes some illness or sickness, heaven forbid, perish the thought.
Yes.
It's dangerous.
Yes.
So you have to be even more, let's say, conscientious. And so your trainers, your HR guys, your L&D people must be really working hard, sort of orienting people to be always and completely like tight wires, not in terms of stress, but in terms of attention towards safety.
Yes, so we train our people well. one of the things we've recently started doing is we have actually started putting in skill centers,
Okay.
even client specific.
Oh,
So,
how's that?
so for larger clients, we would actually put a skill center. Anybody who goes and works with that client in that site would actually be trained through the skill center and then go in there. So there is great focus on training to be able to make sure that we do get it right. And I actually think there's a lot of scope to be able to do this along with the government as well. I mean, if you think about India today and the issue of unemployment, we are a significant employment generator. So if we are 38,000 people today, and my sense in the next few years' time will be well over 100,000 people, there could be very significant opportunity to be able to go out and work together with the government to be able to drive not only employment but skilling as well. And so we'd love to be able to work with the government and its different agencies to be able to source and skill talent as well.
Wonderful. So, what is the work culture like at Compass Group India, Vikas? Tell me about the people-centric approach and diversity that you have embedded at the business model level that you drive, right? What initiatives have you taken to foster a diverse and unique work culture at Compass Group India?
Very interesting question, Pawan, and seminal to our business. So we are nothing other than our people actually.
Right.
It's a bespoke business which is delivered by its people. So people are our biggest asset by far.
Sure.
So we are trying to create a culture which is genuinely, truly, uniquely caring. I don't say we are fully there today, but I think people can feel it. We actually do surveys to be able to understand how people are feeling. And one of the results of the survey came out recently where nearly about 35,000 of our people spoke. And they feel happy in the organization, they feel cared. We have a program which is called We Care, where we give employees a chance to be able to contribute a part of their salaries. And we as a company go out and match that or even beyond to be able to create a fund which is called We Care. So any person across our organization who has a need, whether it's a marriage in the family or an unfortunate demise in the family, or there is a need for education in the family, they can come back in and ask for help. And the good news is that it's something we care about so deeply that this doesn't go through a bureaucratic setup where there are multiple approvals required. It gets done very fast. So these are the kinds of initiatives we take to be able to go out and make our people feel truly cared for, feel truly happy. And together, it is actually a large family in some senses, actually.
Wonderful, wonderful.
My belief, Pawan, is that in case you have an organization which knows where it's going from a vision standpoint, if it has a broad strategy in terms of how to get there, because sometimes there's not really a straight path to where you want to get to, and the team is empowered, every last person is empowered, you create magic.
Wow.
You actually don't even know where the growth comes from. You cannot tote it up actually.
Wonderful. A specialty of you, Vikas, and it stuck in my mind, and I actually wrote it down because I want to quote it. And I quote, a specialty of you, Vikas, is building highly engaged and winning teams and achieving breakthrough growth. End of quote. Now, everyone wants to know how to do that. So, tell us and give me a couple of maybe proof points or, examples of how you set out to build such teams and achieve breakthrough growth have actually worked out for you. Whether here or whether in your past avatars, leadership avatars.
Yeah, I'm most passionate about the here and now right now with Compass Group. I do believe this is the very best. Wow. And the chance to be able to make an impact here, to create a truly high growth organization, this is the very best. Culture does truly eat strategy for breakfast. So we are, I think, building a culture, and I go back to what I was speaking about earlier, which is a caring culture, helps a lot to be able to build highly energized, engaged teams. So, having low response times in terms of people's issues, genuine empathy in terms of being able to understand people, very clearly defining where we are trying to get to. I spoke about our purpose. So being able to co-create a purpose which everybody can identify with, own, feel dear to their heart, they know what they exist for. All of these are elements for being able to drive engagement. People feel stuff. Actually, if you think about emotions, we talk in terms of cultures across the world being entirely different from each other. I feel that things which move people across the world are pretty much the same.
Wonderful.
If you care, people can feel it. And I think it's one of the biggest roles that a leader plays. So building an engaged organization where you have those basic elements in place in terms of आप कहाँ जाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं and roughly how you're going to get there, you have to be able to be reasonably clear on your strategy. And then making sure that every person understands what role they can play in that and also have the leverage to be able to make a difference out there can make a huge difference in driving a high growth culture.
Wonderful. And you know how beautifully things are connected. You said culture eats strategy for breakfast. But if there is good strategy, the first thing they want to do is create a great work culture.
Yes.
So it's like a chicken and egg, of course, but I completely agree with what you said.
Yes.
And thanks for that very, very interesting insight. Vikas, I've really enjoyed this conversation. I have another couple of questions for you, personal ones. You've attributed to your wife and son, you're very, very, very emotionally, deeply attached family man. And you've attributed to your wife and son your understanding of leadership, ethics, and the value of knowledge, right? So that sounds very interesting and intriguing. और आप मुझसे शुरू में भी अभी जब हम बात करने लगे थे बिफोर द रिकॉर्डिंग आपने कहा था कि हाँ मेरी हर बात में मेरी फैमिली आ जाती है. So tell me a little about how, how your family has empowered you or what it means to you. I mean, it sounds like a superficial question for effect, but no, I want to hear from you.
I think Shadi by itself is an institution, and I say this in the right way. I think it's taught me a lot. So my wife is a defense analyst, and she shapes thought for our neighborhood studies from a security-related perspective.
Wow!
I learn from her consistently. She is probably the one person who can call me out for what exactly I am or any particular situation. She calls me out that this is not right. I actually honestly feel that if you could have people around you who could let you know in an absolutely forthright way what's working, what's not working, what you could do differently, it would be a brilliant ally for leaders. I don't think it happens often enough in workspaces. You don't necessarily hear the most honest feedback, and so you sometimes swim in your own exhaust. I focus on listening a lot with my team, and I may or may not get absolutely direct feedback, but I'm able to pick up things which allow me to tweak things around. So in that sense, yes, that's one of the lessons amongst many that I've learned from home. Wonderful. And if I may, I think rearing a son and in today's world, bringing up a son while being a friend can teach you a lot about leadership. So in today's world, I've never actually believed in hierarchy, but today more than ever before, I think you need to be an ally, a friend of your team. You're actually a person who's there for support and guidance
and enabling
versus
them.
Telling them what to do. So I think that for me has been another lesson.
Excellent thing you mentioned is, as a father, like you said, helping a son grow, rearing a son. you learn a lot from the youngsters today.
Yes.
That must open your mind as a senior leader with the ability to create and cause great positive impact to reverse mentoring.
Yes.
You know,
True that. True that.
identifying youngsters and saying, you go and be with my CFO and talk about, whether it's social, whether it's some program or
Yeah.
whether it's whatever technological or whatever. Amazing.
इसमें एक और चीज़ है, by the way. So, if you, just to bring that to life a little bit more, if you tell your son, go out and do that, there is a chance that you might get a little bit of rebellion.
Correct.
So, exactly the same thing happens in your workspace as well. But you may not find out because of the position of authority that you hold. The rebellion will be there. So, it may not get done as well, but you may never find out. So, facilitating, being a servant leader, at least to my mind, I believe that's the best way to be.
Helping them own it as their own idea.
Yes, absolutely.
Acha, now this next question relates to your passion for cricket and sports.
Okay, ji.
So no diplomatic uncertainties of cricket escape hatch. Okay? Tell me, do you think Shubman and the younger Indian cricket team should have played the ODI series against Sri Lanka and saved ourselves the ignominy of losing an ODI series after so many years for the first time in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, honestly, मेरे पास जवाब नहीं है इसका.
नहीं, ये कोई बात नहीं हुई. मैंने पहले ही राइडर दे दिया था. ये तो ओपन रिबेलियन हो गई यार. Tell me, what do you think? I mean, nobody has a formula. नहीं तो हिट फिल्में फॉर्मूले से बनती हैं.
हाँ, नहीं तो I would tend to agree with you. That's yeah. And
I mean, उससे ज़्यादा वर्स और क्या होता? हारते ही ना.
exactly.
So the older players in the team should step aside once in a while and allow some youngster to come in and sort of get blooded and get the experience.
हमारे यहाँ वो कोई टेंशन नहीं है.
अच्छा.
Because the younger players are playing on their front foot and are fully enabled.
What is the average age in your organization?
30.
Oh, wow.
And getting younger.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. So Vikas, I have truly enjoyed myself. This has been a very enlightening conversation for me personally, and I'm sure it's going to be inspiring and edifying for a lot of people, youngsters, students, even your peers alike, and people of my old vintage also. So what did you think of your chat with me today, the questions and how it's flown so far?
Pawan, very thankful. This was wonderful. It was, your questions were probing, and I genuinely enjoyed myself. I have no doubt at all that you've done some of the very best and will continue to do absolutely fabulous work. You, along with your team, are doing great work. I really enjoyed myself, and wish you the very best in your future journey as well. Hope you keep doing great work, and I look forward to seeing you one more time as well, or more time as well.
Oh, several times.
Several
but thank
times
you
as
very
well,
much
yes,
indeed,
thank you.
Vikas. You've been very, very gracious. Thanks for having traveled all the way from Delhi to Mumbai for whatever you traveled for, but also putting aside so much, nearly a couple of hours of time of yours today. So thank you. You've given us a lot of your precious time. I thank you and your excellent comms team. This is my format, once in the beginning, once in the end. So your comms team, starting with Nitasha Pania, your marketing and comms head at Compass Group India, Anjali Berry, Geet Chopra, and the wonderful Jinesh Zaveri of Ad Factors PR. So you're in great comms hands, like I said earlier. So Vikas, thank you once again.
Thank you.
More strength to you. Keep doing the great stuff that you keep doing always. And thanks for being on
Thank you so
MVP.
much, Pawan. Thank you.
So that was the wonderful Vikas Chawla, MD of Compass Group India, on this episode of MVP, the Master's Voice podcast from MediaBrief.com. I found this conversation extremely insightful. I hope you did too. Till we meet again in the next episode of MVP, the Master's Voice podcast. This is your host and friend Pawan Chawla saying, take care, stay safe, eat healthy, work healthy. Bye-bye.